Mary Ellen Mark is an American photographer known for her journalism, documentary photography, and notably her portraiture. Her pictures reflect a high degree of humanism because she focuses on the lives of people through difficult times. Her work has appeared in Life magazine, The New York Times, and The New Yorker. It is also displayed at leading museums and galleries all over the world. Her most notable and compelling photo essay is the 1983 series called Streetwise. She was to capture the street kids of Seattle. She wanted to shed light on societal matters and bring visibility and representation to those who shield away from society. She wanted to focus on the vulnerable. While carrying out this mission, Mark struck up an intense relationship with the girl in the photograph, which she nicknamed Tiny. Tiny was a 13-year-old prostitute and became Mark's central subject not only for the 1983 series, but for the rest of her life. This photograph shows a dark silhouette against a blurry background. The image gives a bit of a devilish vibe with the veil covering her face. As a viewer, it feels like I have more to find out about her, like she's hiding something. Mark uses black and white, which really adds to the unknowing aspect of this photograph. The use of bullseye gives the viewer an intimate connection with the girl. This photograph gives the viewer an inside look at Tiny's life. Mark explained that Tiny and her mother had argued before this picture was taken. Tiny's face resting on the counter while her mother looks from behind to the camera in despair portrays the difficulties that they are experiencing. The composition that Mark captured in this picture of the white walls in the back and the boxes of clutter might give a clue to the conditions that they live in. This photograph makes me feel sad for Tiny and her mother. This is a very important picture captured by Mark because it shows how Tiny's life is changing. She is a bit older than the last photo, but here she is pregnant. I think there is significance to the way Mark captured this. She is laying on a mattress on the floor with a used-looking blanket, and we see her looking up to the sky. Also, the fact that she is on the floor alone while pregnant paints a picture of her life for the viewer. This picture makes me wonder how her life was up to this point and what got her to this point. Mark keeps making the viewer wonder with all of these pictures of the same girl. The dramatic changes between each picture keeps me interested. This picture is showing Tiny with her baby. The way that the baby is laying there unclothed while Tiny looks blankly at the camera gives rawness to this moment. I get a feeling that Tiny isn't very engaged with her baby in this moment as she is not holding her. Mark uses black and white in all of these photos, which really adds to the nostalgic feeling when the viewer looks back on pictures of Tiny through every stage of her life. I really like the simplicity and realness of this photo, but as in the other pictures, I get a feeling that Tiny struggles by the looks on her face. And now here is an older Tiny, as she lays in bed with her son, looking pretty unengaged. I like how Mark used symmetry in this photo because they are both laying with their arm up on their head. The cigarette in her hand is also pretty significant, showing that Tiny really isn't paying attention to the influence and impact she could have on her son. Mark's interest in photographing the everyday lives of people is evident through her work and makes her unique. As a viewer, it makes me appreciate my life, realizing that there are people who grew up in different situations than me, and looking at Mark's pictures, I get a sneak peek of what their lives are like.